Get this, the American debt on auto loans is well over $1.6 trillion. And when you factor that this is the second largest form of loans behind mortgages, but remember, cars don't appreciate. Most of them are just liabilities that sit outside. And on top of that, most people are sitting with negative equity, meaning that the loan value is sitting higher than the actual worth of the car.
The minimum monthly payment's $1,094.95?
Yes.
What did we get? It's a minivan, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know those still existed.
It was really hard to find this one, which is
Yeah.
why we had to. So we had the Sienna. The Sienna is the one that we got into the accident with, and it got totaled.
This?
No, not this one. This is the new
It
one.
was a red one.
How did the insurance work for that? Did you get it? Did it pay off the remaining?
Yes, it paid off the remaining, but in November we had gotten a Prius. Didn't work for our family.
Why'd you get the Prius then?
I tried to convince her to get the van, but I think she was emotionally distraught with the accident. And she was thinking, hey, this is different. We're going to save money with getting better gas mileage.
It was an electric Prius. So it
I
was.
thought they all were. I don't know.
The majority of them are
Hybrids.
hybrids, but this was a prime plug-in. So it did partially gas, but partially electric. So I got like 75 miles a gallon.
Sure.
And then the payment was lower, but 3 kids in the backseat of a Prius is
Probably not.
not considering my child being 5'3" and 160 pounds. So we recently traded it in to get this one.
Oh gosh. Wait, did you have to exchange some of the loan balance into this rollover?
Not a ton, not a lot, but yes.
But you did have to.
Yes.
Couple thousand.
Now that's probably like a small example of someone purposely going and choosing negative equity. But when you think about it, that's what most people do. They get into a car crash and then they end up getting a new car. And most people don't have gap insurance, which is simply just in the event if something happens, gap insurance covers the value of the car plus the loan. But when most people don't have that, they're simply upside down or upside down loans. And this is going to slowly snowball, but most people, unfortunately, especially Americans, are just consumeristic spenders. So they just simply want the next shiny car. And unfortunately, the dealers are just, never-ending supplies. So they'll obviously take your money. But if you're someone who can't afford that, well, what are your options? It's obviously get rid of the car and likely walk. But most people aren't going to do that, let's be honest. So we're only going to see one, that they can't pay their bills, or two, that they're choosing not to. And that's unfortunately going to cause a rise in repos.
Yo, we're at the auction. I'm going to show you how bad repos are getting and how new these vehicles are that are getting repossessed by the banks and being sold at the auction. Look at this. All these are repos, all brand new cars. You got Chargers, Scat Packs, Mercedes, Genesis, Range Rovers, Range Rover, trucks, Teslas. Man, they should have repoed this. This ain't no Scat Pack. Look at that. The Savini's wheel with the, it's a regular Charger, man. And guys, these aren't, 2010, 2012. These are 2019, 2020s and up that are getting repoed. People are barely had these cars for a year, maybe less, maybe more, and the banks are picking them up and selling them at the auctions for a fraction of what they bought it for. Show you how cooked the car market is with all these high interest loans, people bailing out of their auto loans because they can't even afford it. Here we have a 2019 Range Rover. Oh, this is beautiful. I'm sure whoever bought this probably paid an arm and a leg, and it's gonna go for a fraction of the cost of the auction. And during COVID and even till today, people are getting approved for these crazy loans on these cars, paying $1,200.
It's clear by just looking at this lot that, wealth is all over and people are just simply getting cars, but unfortunately not able to pay them off.
Income on just an automobile that doesn't include anything else, any maintenance or anything. It's crazy. Car market is getting stagnant, inventory is going up, and the reason is people just don't know how to educate themselves, budget correctly, and dealers are taking advantage of that and marking up these cars at such an alarming rate, and banks are approving these loans. We're probably going to start seeing the cars that Steve-O got me rolling sold to those people start popping up at the auctions soon. But seriously, if you don't want to end up trying to pay the difference on a vehicle that you've bought at such a high price with a high interest rate, take your time to educate yourself and make sure you budget correctly. And as far as the car market goes, we're in trouble because all of these are repos.
Now, it's one thing about hearing repos, but it's another thing about seeing them, especially at the auctions, knowing that there's someone behind it who actually went to go get the loan, who chose not to make the payments or simply couldn't make the payments. This is only going to be an increase in cost. It's no different because remember, auto loans is second to mortgages from someone's home getting taken from them because they couldn't make the payments. But when you break down this overall situation, people don't have the funds. They shouldn't have bought that car in the first place, and it was an oversupply in the market. I mean, let's be honest. Most people just simply want to roll around something shiny until maybe a year rolls around where they realize that they shouldn't be making these kind of payments because simply the banks are going to get their money back. The dealer's just trying to make their money, and the only person that's going to be hurt from this are the average consumers. But regardless of who you are, you should understand that there's many parties involved, whether it be the bank or the dealer, and their end goal is to take money from clients.
If you ever paid a down payment for your car, you got scammed like hell. Now, my boyfriend's dad was a car salesman, manager at that. And he told me that when you put a down payment on your car, the car salesman pocket it as commission. You think that you just put $10,000 on your car loan, when really your interest was adjusted $10,000. Let me break it down for you. If you get a car that's $20,000 and the car salesman convinced you to put down $5,000, theoretically you will owe $15,000 for the car, right? Okay, but what if the car salesman says the car is $20,000 on a 15% interest rate and you put down that same $5,000? Now you notice the interest rate went down. So instead of it being 15%, now it's 7.5% interest rate. You didn't even pay attention to the interest. You just paid attention to your monthly payments go down. When all actuality, monthly payments went down because the interest went down, not because of the down payment. Because this went right over your head, he pocketed your whole $5,000 as commission. Anyone that pays a down payment or trade in their car just to be upside down or losing money that they didn't have to spend is completely ridiculous. And we got to do better by knowing what the hell we're talking about.
Now, y'all can let me know down in the comments, but I'm pretty sure that was just 100% of a scam that the dealer was presenting. Now, I have no idea any down payment that only goes towards an interest cut. That's clearly at some sort of buy now, pay later dealership that takes advantage of people who have no idea what they're doing because one, a 15% interest rate is obviously terrible, but one of those things where you're putting money down on the loan, it shouldn't cut your interest rate. It should literally cut the amount of the loan. But you know, it's one of those things that I'm pretty sure that there are places out there like that that completely take advantage of people. This is just one example that no matter what is happening, this entire market is just sort of screwed up and people are going to be owing so much on these cars that aren't worth it. But y'all let me know your thoughts down below. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.